So 2021 was already a great year in tech. We definitely saw a lot of interesting devices come out. We saw a couple EVs, and 2022 should have a lot more of those, and perhaps some other things too. So let's talk about those. So let's start off by talking about Apple Silicon Macs, and this actually comes at the perfect time because Apple is officially the world's first $3 trillion company. And this is wild because just last year, I think, they hit 2 trillion, and then in 2018, they hit 1 trillion. And it's still wild to me because compared to companies like Samsung even, Apple doesn't sell nearly as many devices as them, or, the same variety of devices that Samsung sells. Like they sell dishwashers, vacuums, stuff like that, whereas Apple's really just tech devices and then tech related services. And this is just mind-boggling. So a huge congrats to Apple for hitting $3 trillion in market cap value. I don't know how these stocks work, man. It's not like they're gonna watch this video anyways. But moving on, Apple Silicon Macs. So this year marks the end of their 2-year transition that they announced back at WWDC 2020. So the remaining Macs in Apple's line that are yet to transition are just the desktops, basically. It's the larger iMac and the Mac Pro. So really nothing left. And this year, I think we're going to be really seeing the true power of Apple Silicon because 2020 was like M1. So basically just a bit of performance and a bit of efficiency. Last year, we saw insane graphical performance. And last year, I mean 2021. It feels odd saying that. Wow, 2021 was last year. Anyways, yeah, so 2021, we see the M1 Pros and M1 Maxes, huge graphical improvements that pros were really looking for. This year, we're seeing true desktop level chips coming out. So that means that they don't really need to care so much about these efficiency cores anymore because these desktops are not going to be running on battery. They're going to be plugged into the wall. So I think the two devices that we'll be expecting to be coming out with these insane desktop level chips, probably M2 Pro, M2 Max, whatever they're going to call it. I'm assuming the M2 is going to be the successor to the M1. It'll go into the lower end devices, and then the M2 Pro, M2 Max, M2 Pro Max, whatever they're going to call it, is going to go into this new larger iMac or iMac Pro and the Apple Silicon Mac Pro. And there's, a couple rumors of them bringing out a regular large Mac Pro, Apple Silicon obviously, and then a Mac Pro Mini, which is like still a lot of power, but just a smaller Mac Pro. I'm particularly excited for the iMac because, well, the iMac 24-inch was nice, but what are they going to do with this larger one? Will they add, a Pro Motion display? Will they make it like thin bezels like the Pro Display XDR? That's definitely going to be really cool. There's also a couple other Apple products that I've got my eye on. The new redesigned MacBook Airs that are supposed to be coming out, the redesigned iPad Pros, iPhone 14s, all of that. But the real juice, or the real Apple juice, the real good stuff that's coming from Apple this year is definitely going to be that iMac Pro or whatever and the Mac Pro. Now, I'm also excited for the foldable phones of this year. So, namely Samsung's probably Galaxy Z Fold 4 and the Z Flip 4, whatever they're going to be bringing out this year. Those do seem exciting. I mean, I feel like the past couple of years, Samsung has really been killing it at this folding phone, flipping phone game. But this year, I think we can just see a couple refinements because 2021, we already got some really solid folding phones and flipping phones. We're also going to be getting some closure on what happens with the Galaxy Note line. Obviously, we didn't see a Galaxy Note come out in 2021. And also, will the S22 line or the Galaxy foldables and flippables this year, will they get a slot for the S Pen to go into, or do you still have to buy it separately and carry it separately? I also saw that there were rumors of a Pixel Fold or something coming out this year or last year. I don't think that's going to happen for a year or at least another 2 years. I know people want an iPhone Fold as well. That's probably a while down the line, but I am looking at a Pixel Watch. That would be really cool. Obviously, Google's been making Wear OS, and now I think it partnered with Samsung and Tizen and all that, and it just acquired Fitbit, I think mid-2021. I think that a Pixel Watch is imminent. Hopefully it can come out this year or maybe next year at the latest, but I really want to see, a native Google Wear OS, Pixel Watch, whatever they're going to call it. I think that would be really cool. Because, this entire just smartwatch industry sort of thing is a fairly sparse tech segment, I would say. I mean, there's not enough actual competition in it. You still have, Apple Watch is the gold standard, but you also have the Samsung Galaxy Watch, you have Fitbit, you have the OnePlus Watch, you have Fossil making a bunch of their own smartwatches, but maybe Google coming in. They can actually make a proper Apple Watch alternative since they make Wear OS, a watch made by them, software, hardware, maybe with like a Tensor chip or Tensor Mini, whatever it'll be inside. That would be really cool. And hopefully it's circular. I mean, obviously this sort of design is the best if you want to get the most screen real estate, but it's also a very utilitarian design. And actually, on the topic of Google, the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro will be cool this year. I know that the Pixel 6 just launched a couple months ago, but it did bring one thing, the Google Tensor chip, which is Google's first chip with its built in-house silicon. So obviously 2022 will be seeing the second generation of Tensor, whatever they're going to call it, but that is definitely very exciting because the first Tensor chip was really nice, but maybe the second one can definitely improve on performance and efficiency. And now that Google's finally solved its identity crisis with the Pixel line, this Pixel 7 should be very exciting. I didn't see any leaks about it, but I'm just excited for that second gen Tensor chip or whatever it's going to be. Now this next thing is not quite as exciting, but still cool nonetheless, and that is Windows on ARM. So up until now, Qualcomm has been the sole producer of Windows on ARM chips because of their deal with Windows that, Windows on ARM will only run on Qualcomm chips. That deal is expiring soon, which means that other chip makers can definitely get into this business because Qualcomm has been relatively disappointing. The SQ1, SQ2 haven't been such great Windows chips. Definitely nothing compared to what Apple's been doing with their own silicon. So hopefully now that we see other chip makers get into this, Windows on ARM can get a lot better and, someday maybe as good as Apple silicon. Maybe it'll take a couple years to get to where Apple is even now or even like last year with the M1. But it's a start, right? It's definitely better than whatever we saw with the Surface Pro X and the Surface Pro X Gen 2. And that also means that finally Boot Camp can actually come to ARM-enabled Macs, so you can run Windows natively on Macs rather than through parallels or crossovers or whatever. But moving on, one segment that is definitely going to get a lot of attention this year is the EV market. Now, 2021 was already great for EVs. We saw the Tesla Model S Plaid. We saw the Rivian R1T actually come out. We saw the Lucid Air actually come out. This year, a lot of dedicated electric automakers are coming out with some cars. So the Rivian R1S, which is like the R1T's SUV brother. The Canoo lifestyle vehicle, which gotta say just looks amazing because of Canoo's like entirely unique design approach with this. The Tesla Cybertruck can maybe finally actually enter production. It's been on delays for so long, and even the Roadster we've heard nothing about, and that got announced like 2017. Alright, so as I was editing this video, I found out that the Cybertruck got delayed again, this time indefinitely. So I guess 2022 we're not going to be seeing a Cybertruck again. But also the GMC Hummer pickup EV can hopefully come out this year. And alongside that, a lot of other companies are coming out with EVs as well. Hyundai is coming out with the Ioniq 5, Kia's EV6, Genesis a GV60, BMW iX. The list just keeps on going on. And the good thing when you get a lot more EVs is that the charging networks become better, because Tesla right now is like the king of charging networks, and hopefully with all these other car companies coming out with their own EVs, that's going to push the charging networks to become better and better and better. And that's pretty much it for the video. So 2022 is going to be a wild year in tech, and hopefully it can also bring an end to this horrible pandemic. But you let me know down in the comments below, what are you looking most forward to in this year, 2022? Are there any tech products that you want to buy, any tech products that you currently own that you want to upgrade? Are you planning on buying an EV this year, and if so, which one? Let me know all that down in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for being here, and that's pretty much it for me.